Hey, Kevo. I saw your video, Grow Up Hair, and you definitely have a tendency to be able to inspire somebody to go on. So I heard something in that video that I've seen too often, and that is the seeming desire of people to want other people to encourage them to do stuff. And I agree with what you're talking about. I went and visited my oldest brother sometime a little bit before Christmas, and he was always quite the well-read, studious type of person. He had certain problems and issues. Matter of fact, no, I won't get into that part. But I always thought he'd be a writer. I always thought he'd be a writer, and I may have been mistaken about that. He has a certain problem. What do they call it? Ah, damn! I hate when I do that. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and what I've this visitation that I rested upon him. I'd gone and seen him because I hadn't seen him in something like 20 or 30 years. I actually thought he was dead. When finding out he was alive was quite a shock to me. But there were things and issues that I had been trying to deal with over a long period of time, and going and visiting him twice was one of the best things that I could do. The first time around he was sober. The second time around he was drunk. I'm glad I saw him in both states. It brought back memories. The first time I saw him was the type of person that I was trying to remember. I was maybe being a little bit too consoling, or maybe too, how would you call it, wanting to see him in a better light. When I went and saw him the second time, it brought up a lot of anger and a lot of hate. I'll tell you, I'm glad I saw him the second time because that's part of the whole story. Not to want to hate him, but to remember what it was like back then. To understand myself. To understand what I was going through back then as a kid. And some of the coping mechanisms that I developed back then in order to deal with the kind of shit that I had to deal with. And it made for tremendous breakthroughs. I'd mentioned to him that I thought he'd be a writer, but one of the things that he brought up that was that same issue you were talking about. Well, I need to write for somebody else. I need to do things that are popular, and I don't know if I can do that. And I said to him, no, don't fucking do it to please other people. Do it to please your fucking self. I don't think you heard me. He has a certain kind of a problem. He's afraid of failure, and he's afraid of criticism, and he's his own worst critic. He'll destroy work that he makes because he can't stand it. Perfectionist, so to speak. Very destructive perfectionist. One who can never be good enough. And I hate that word perfection, perfect, because it's like, what is it? Perfect? That which cannot be achieved. Well, what the fuck good is the standard, huh? Come on. If you're going to set a standard, at least give it parameters. Make it achievable. You and I, harmonica and ukulele, we're not virtuosos. We're not anything near that. We enjoy ourselves. Isn't that the point? Isn't that what it's about? Right now, I'm writing fiction. Something I started when I was 17 and stopped again. It was kind of a carry through in the family sort of nothing's good enough sort of thing. Now, even this is good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think. Not everybody's going to be an asshole. That was part of the problem too. There was a lot of negativity back then. He was so negative, it was so cynical, and I was getting to a point of thinking that life wasn't worth living. And when it came down to the wire, I finally decided to reject that. Say that people are good. Good life is worth living. That there may be something. All I had to do was be patient, and it would show up. It's taken a long time, but all the step of the way, little bits and pieces that have come up have been great. Being bored is funny. I remember as a kid, there were times when I'd be bored, I'd do something like sit in front of the front end loader washing machine and watch that turn around like about watching paint dry. It was another thing I used to like to do. I was thinking everything was in despair. I'd go out into the field. We had a park across the street from us, and as a little kid, I used to go out in the middle of that hot, blazing summer day when you look around, the grass is brown and everything seems dead. And standing there and looking all around and feeling the sweltering heat and like nothing could survive and how it would be possible. And what I do is I just get down in the grass and look deep down right onto the ground to see if I could see anything going on. And there was. There was always life. It just kept going on. And I found that amazing. Even these little wee things that looked like they could dance on the point of a pin, not the head of a pin, the point of a pin. Little wee red mites, I think they were called, kind of like spider mites or something like that. You see those things scurrying about on these hot, sweltering days, and you can't even see their legs, and you wonder how they... Anyways. Everything's interesting. Everything's interesting. Nicely put. Hope this fellow pays attention. Should be interesting to see what happens. Thanks for that video. That was fun and enjoyable, and we will get back into our pain and pleasure discussion further. Just wasn't there right now. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye for now.